that we have turkey season out of the way, we can actually get to doing some work. And the weather is broke enough. It hasn't rained in a couple days. It's still a little bit wet, but we can finally get in and do some bean planting. This whole next month, I'm going to dedicate, it's bean month. We're planting soybeans, Eagle Forage Soybeans, Penningtons, Deluxe, summer forages. Let's get to work. You know, we preach adaptive management strategies, and figuring out how to adjust to Mother Nature is just a way of life. You know, these past 2 years have been so hard dealing with wildlife management issues, but we still come out on top. Just because it's too wet or too dry doesn't mean that you can't get out there and figure out how to make this happen. There are no cookie cutter formulas when it comes to wildlife management. There are no static management plans. Everything is always changing. And that's what we pride ourselves on here at the Management Advantage, is teaching you how to adapt to whatever situation Mother Nature has given. Okay, the first stop in our bean month is the family farm. I've got several plots that over the past few years I've had really good luck with a no-till drill. And you can go to the county Soil and Water Conservation District, rent these drills. You know, they're like $8 or $10 an acre, a flat fee of $100. So it's really very affordable for the average guy. But the thing about renting these drills is you've got other people using them. You don't know what they're planting. You want to make sure that thing's cleaned out, and you want to make sure you have the drill set up right. Make sure the booklet is in the black box on the drill. That's going to tell you everything you need to know about setting that drill up, from depth to seed population to speed control. One thing I really like to do with these Eagle Forage soybeans on farms that I don't have a high deer density is I'll take every other row out in that drill. I'll take duct tape or a piece of cardboard and just block every other row out. So instead of that 7.5 inch spacing, we're planting in a 15-inch row. What it does is it spreads them out, gives a little bit more room for that plant to do what they're designed to do. First thing we want to do is set the drill up. So what we want to do is look in the book that comes on the drill, and we're going to run in drive type 2. Normally we would plant about 50 pounds of the acre of these Eagle Seed Forage beans, but we plugged up every other row, so we're making it a 15-inch row. So what we want to do is double our rate according to this chart, because we've just split our rows in half. So what we want to do, there's where we would normally set, would be on the number 30 on the drill. That makes it 49.1 pounds. We're going to bump it up to the 55 setting and go ahead and put literally 100 pounds out there if we had all the rows planting, but we're doing half, so that should set us up just right. Once you get your drill set up for how many beans you want to actually put out, start planting, and then what I do is go back and just start checking. And sometimes, you know, it's hard to find them at first, but once you find them, try to get a count on how many beans you have. And here is a pretty good example. This is about a foot right here, and I've dug these out, and you can see there is exactly 5 beans per foot on this row here. And when you get this late in the year, do not bury your seed deep. That is very important. They don't need to be buried 1.5 inches deep. Especially with this no-till drill, you're dealing with ground that's fairly tight. It's not loose. So what I'm doing is I have cheated that drill up with the spacers, with the packer wheels on the back, and I'm barely laying these beans in under the soil. I mean, 1/2 inch tops. because we've got heat, we've got 80-degree days coming up, we've got rain in the forecast, and we have so much moisture that these beans will have a sprout on them within 4 hours. This is such a contrasting year to what we dealt with last year. Last year we had 0 snow, 0 winter rains, or 0 moisture leading into planting season. So we stuck those beans in there last year a little bit deeper because that's where the moisture was at, and we ended up only having like an inch of rain the whole summer. Beans ended up getting like 6 foot tall, fed all of our deer. This year it's so wet, and it's probably just a little bit too wet to do what we're doing, but I have a very short window to do this, and we're taking the beans and sticking them just barely under the soil. These beans should be up within a couple days. This situation, you know, we're saving a lot of manpower, a lot of diesel fuel, a lot of time using this no-till drill because it is so wet that if we would have went in there with a disc, it would have just made an absolute mess. We have never turned this ground over. We killed it 3 years ago, killed the fescue, and drilled straight into it. And we've done that every year since then, and we've had a really good stand of beans every year. So just because you got that disc doesn't mean you have to use it. You'd think you'd need this clean slate, nice pretty field to drill your beans into, but this is a hairy mess. And I can't tell you how many times I've drilled beans into just junk like this. Spray them either the same day or the next day and have the most beautiful stand of beans come through that trash once it melts down that you've ever seen. You know, we've got a very good soil structure. We have 0 compaction. You're limiting your passes across that field. You have high organic matter because you've got all the dead matter coming off those plants from years previous. And like I said, this is the 3rd year of this. So we really have a great situation. And if you have a situation where, you know, you're converting pasture into wildlife habitat or into a food plot, don't look past spraying it with Roundup and drilling straight into it. As long as you get those seeds in moisture, they're gonna produce a quality food plot. Next show, we're gonna show you how well the Furminator actually plants soybeans. We've never showed that. We've showed you how to plant winter food plots, but we've never showed you how to plant those summer forages with the Furminator, and it works phenomenal.
There's a place I go, tucked back in the pines, where a green field grows, my own little paradise. I'm thankful for this land and the life that it provides. See, the measure of a man is what he leaves behind. Oh, oh, take what you need and pass it on down.
Sometimes you just got to get on old Chucky. Let him loosen up a little bit.
I am what I am. If you sit me down, I'm going to talk like this. In trails, in pine plantations, nothing can be better.
That'd have been good if he hadn't just bulldozed the camera.